Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. I'm going to show you a quick procedure that's going to increase performance and save fuel, increase responsiveness in just about any petrol or diesel engine if you've got this problem. Now, a lot of you already know about it. I'm going to include a whole heap of information here, when to replace them, when to clean them, how to clean them, what with, and the precautions you need to so you don't end up blowing your filter out of place like that and it not being a filter anymore. So we're going to explain a few things here. Sit tight. Hopefully it'll only take about 10 minutes, but really important information. So this is what we call the MAP filter. Okay, it's called a filter. There's a number of them on your vehicle, petrol or diesel, in different places for different reasons. This is an important one because the reason we call it the MAP filter stands for manifold absolute pressure. So turbocharged vehicles, vacuum lines, and EGR diesel in particular is a problem. Diesel, because of that exhaust gas recirculation, so you've got exhaust gases going back through your intake just the way it cakes up your EGR. That's why this filter's in place. So there's a vacuum line that goes to a sensor that literally it's a sensor that senses the vacuum on the intake manifold, and it's connected to a sensor that sends signal back electronically to the ECU saying this is what's going on there, so everything can work right. If this is leaking, blocked, or the filter's blown out of place, it's not going to get the correct readings, and therefore you could be lacking performance. Now, we've seen this a number of times for many years. A few things. Firstly, if you've noticed, they crack. See all the mess on the bottom of them here? We've got a number of videos on this already, so after this one, make sure you go and check those out. But this one's probably going to be even better than those put together because it's further down the road, if you know what I mean. Not the road map to recovery. It's not a road anyway, but look, further down the road, right? So, first thing is, if yours is very old, if you've got oil down the side there, you know, and it's all messy and this is above it and it looks kind of like that, you need to replace it, okay? That's the first thing. We do supply these when they're available as part of our injector kit, or you can just buy them separately from wherever you like your Toyota dealer. There is an aftermarket one someone's made from steel. Look, you know, that's all good. That's going to save the cracking problem, but the cracking problem's a small problem, and they crack long after they're due to replace, in my opinion, and those cost more. So in my opinion, stick with these, okay? I suggest changing them around about every 5 years. You could push it out to 6, 7, or 8. Now, if you've got an EGR system that's normal, operational, it's going to be a lot worse. Now, believe it or not, these little, you can see we've cut a couple open. There's a couple of filters. One's there, one we've just set it back in place because I wanted to demonstrate. Just let me grab a set of these cheap angled long nose pliers. Will do the job, and we'll just pull it out to show you. Right, so it's a bit not flat at the moment. That might have been, I think that was the cleaned one, right? Now that's what I'm trying to say. They're normally white, okay? So when it's new, it's white. It's going to stay a lot cleaner for people that have, you know, you can see, let's have a look inside how black it is, right? The black staining. But what I want to point out is, if you can see in there, there's a place. I need another little pointer. Hang on a sec, I've got a plant. Making it up as we go here, but basically, where that little filter sits, right? There's a space. See, I'll just use my little. It sits under there, right? So it sits under there. These tabs here, 1, 2, 3, 4, is what retains that filter there, right? Now, so firstly, if you're going to blow it out, you're probably best blowing in the grey end, okay? And which goes out the black end because it's got less chance it's going to push that filter out of place. So in the grey, out the black, right? Because the filter sits down there, right? Let's get the other half trying. Where's the other half of this one? That's the big half, that's the small half. Yep, okay, so that should be, let me just see, does that look about right? No, it does. This one looks cleaner, so this must be, I just want to make sure, no, that's black and black, it's not going to work. So what, oh yeah, the clean side, that's why the clean side's cleaner. Let me just get the right two halves together. It'd be pretty obvious because you'd go, no, it's not that obvious actually. I just want to match it up here. That would be almost that one, almost kind of, but there was a hacksaw involved. Anyway, the point is you can see the grey end isn't where the filter sits, it sits at the black end. So if you blow in the grey end here, right, you're better off. But I always say just do it carefully anyway, because if you were to use enough force, perhaps what you would do, even blowing in the grain, this is the black end here, right? If you're blowing in that, you could still push, enough pressure will push and maybe jam that filter down into there, and what it does, it pulls it out of place and comes away at the edges here, therefore it's not a filter anymore, so everything can get past. And not having that filter in place is could possibly be worse. I'm not going to tell you I've got a lot of experience with it, because the vehicles we work on, they have the filter in place, right, except for the few that don't. And I'll say, you know, it could be worse than not having it there, having it blown out, worse than having it dirty, sorry. If it's dirty and not flowing, not giving the correct readings, remember, you know, it's between the sensor and the inlet manifold. So if it's not clean and clear, it's going to mess with the readings. It's not in peak performance, you know. So there's no tuning with these diesels you can do as such, like older cars, carbies, adjusting screws and whatever. Same for any fuel injection vehicle for a long time. Now you can get into ECUs and change things. That's not tuning really. That's remapping, and in a lot of cases, depends who does it, buggering things up. So I recommend against it until we know people that can do it, that you can rely on, that are as good or better than the original manufacturers like Toyota. You know, just be careful with that. Make sure you really want to risk it, or you know who you're going to get that done. So to get all the correct readings, we want to clean it. So what we're going to do, we've said about when to replace it, we've said some of the precautions. Now we're just going to show you how to clean it. What first thing you want to do, you want to get yourself a set of these gloves on, which I just had on before. Stripped a few filthy things, and I just thought, you know what, I'll show you a little trick at the end of this as well too, and you probably know it anyway. But what you do is we're just going to get, well, let's pick this one out, right? We'll just put all this gear out of the way for a minute. All right, you've been there, seen that. We'll bring the drain tray over. This is what you want to do. So, do you remember which was the clean side? Let's have a look. See the grey end? The grey end was the clean side. So, to clean it, you want to keep the grey end, because, you know, what am I trying to say? Yeah, so if that's the clean side, let me get the black end, right? The black end. Yeah, well, you know what? On that one, let me get, where's all the other ones? So, the clean side is definitely on the grey, looking at the internals of both of those. Let me have a look at the other. And it's definitely dirty on the black side. So it would kind of make sense as well. The same way you're blowing is the same way you can clean as well, right? Would make sense, you know? But you know what? I like cleaning both ways. That's what I do. I'm over-analysing it now. I didn't analyse it before the video. But basically, you know, just, did we say we're going to spray on the grey side, yeah? Or the black side? Anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? So the point is, just sort of, oops, you can keep a hold of it, right? And sometimes, I don't know if this one's been cleaned or not before, you'll see a whole heap of, so that one's running pretty clear. And that's the problem, because those other ones, one of those was clean and it was running clear. Let's spray the other way just for the hell of it, right? If we can get it to go in the hole. Right, it's running clear, and that's what we did with one of those, and then we cut it open. Now the next thing is, you don't want to put it together like that, because that could be half full of fluid, right? So I suggest holding it either way for some of it to drain out. But then of course that's where you want your compressed air. We'll make a little bit of noise here for a minute, but what did I say? Blow in the grey side, not the black side. Don't do that, don't do that. And don't go, I'll show you what not to do as well, right? So we're just going to go kind of like this. Sorry. Do it outside in fresh air. Oh, it smells awesome. Right, so some people, right, you just want to keep it at a distance like that and just kind of go. And then just let it sit. So do this at the start of whatever job you're doing, and then let it sit to dry, because the last, it's Carby Cleaner we're using. You saw the can, didn't you? I don't care what brand you use, whatever Carby Cleaner like that, right? Most of it's blown out and it's going to sit there and dry. Let it sit for a while if you can, but the problem is you cut it open, it's still dirty. So if it's less than 5 years old and you've had a, you know, if you've done your e-jar clean, you put a plate in, that sort of thing, right, to reduce the flow, then they stay a lot cleaner, and you're probably going to get a lot longer out of them, okay? So I'm not saying replace it every year. They're rip-off little things. They're like 50 or 60 bucks from Toyota dealers. They are very expensive for a bit of plastic. I think they should be about 20 bucks, and we'd be saying, yeah, you know, just replace it every 2 or 3 years, which Toyota would probably make more money because you'd be changing it more often. But because it's a little rip-off thing, we're going to make it last as long as we can. With a standard e-jar system, not to look cracks like that one has. You can see the cracks there. Not that long, which is probably about 10 years. With a standard e-jar system, you got to change it at 5 years. You really do, 5, 6, 7 years. You can clean them once a year, but if you see it running clear, you know you've got a pretty good e-jar system going on there. Now, what was the last thing I want to say? Now, where you've got a problem is, if you get someone that goes like this, well, what do we say? In the black's going to be a problem, right? So at the moment, if you were to, the other thing you can do is give it a wipe, get a rag and give it a wipe there, and just have a little blow through it and feel the resistance, and then go like this. See how I've done that? That may well have pushed that filter out of place because I blew in the black side. Remember the black side? That's where the filter sits, and what it can do is just push that filter basically up the guts like that, right? So can you see what's going on there? Sorry, I'm trying to manage everything here, get everything right. But so if you blow in the black side, that's the side where the filter fits. It could end up just, you know, getting blown out of place like that. So what I'm going to do now, I can't get my face and mouth down there, but I'm just going to have a blow on that black side. I reckon it still works. I don't believe that one is destroyed, but tastes good. What I'm trying to point out is though, if you were to do that, there's a chance, okay? Because I've tested it before. I've got a whole heap here, as you can see, right? And done a lot of testing on these, throw a lot in the bin, got a few, got bags of them, and we'll do more. But purposely, I've blown this way, I've blown that way, I've done different things, I've used different ergons, and sometimes all of a sudden there's no resistance at all whatsoever. And if there's no resistance, then this is probably what's happened. I'll say probably, I'm pretty sure, but I'm going to say probably, because with every one of them there's a bit of resistance. You're blowing through a filter. The filter's not designed for high flow. It's not a high flow filter, it's a MAP filter. It's just a small, it's not actually anything flowing, okay? So it's quite a dense filter that's going to filter out all that bit of carbon and stuff like that. Anyway guys, I hope you get my drift. This is basically the same for any particularly diesel e-jar vehicles that have got a MAP filter. They're going to have a filter there. Check any other filters. You know, I can't tell you exactly what makes and models, which ones to clean, which ones not to. These are the ones we deal with, but you're better off understanding all the systems. Understand, have a look and go, yep, okay, there's the MAP filter, the vacuum line, there's a filter there. Yep, this has got a dirty, filthy e-jar system. So it's probably going to be the same. You can go ahead and price it up to replace it. You can clean it. You can do your own bit of R&D, whatever you want to do. But all vehicles, right? Even petrol vehicles, not as bad because they don't. Well, they do have e-jar systems, but all depends what makes and models and different tuning as to an injection. You know where the injectors are. There's a whole lot of variables, guys, and that's why. Cars aren't what they used to be. Motor vehicles aren't what they used to be. Pretty simple, you know. If, you know, however many cylinders and a carby and a coil and a, you know, a distributor cap and leads and whatever. Very complicated. Different injection systems, injectors in different places. Very complicated, but very simple as well, okay? The good news is, because they're newer, we've moved ahead in technology, everything's a lot more reliable, and it makes it really straightforward if you're mechanically apt to understand these systems and do some servicing and maintenance yourself. There's no need to take your vehicle anywhere to pay anyone to do that, unless you shouldn't be touching vehicles and tools at all whatsoever, in which case you do. Hit us up in a text message for a recommended repairer if that's what you need, and we can send you to some people that we recommend. We haven't got a lot of people we recommend because at the end of the day, our recommendations, we don't make recommendations lightly. It is our reputation, I understand that, so there's not many people, and I do put a call out there for anyone that thinks they can complete general repairs satisfactorily, because we're always looking for more 4x4 diesel recommended repairers. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you got something out of that, please give us the clean or dirty thumbs up, And if you haven't already, guys, subscribe, turn that bell on so you don't miss out on this important information. If you like, go back and search Matt Filter on our channel and you can have a look at the other videos. There might be other bit of information in there that I forgot to put in this one, because that's what happens. What happens is, you know, I tell you about something and then I think I've told you, so then we move on to the next level sometimes. But I forget that because you're new, you just found the channel a week ago or a month ago, this sort of thing, right? I don't know why it's taken so long. As I said, people need to share the channel. Please, guys, share the channel out on your Facebook groups, pages, email it to a mate, text messages, whatever. Help them look after their vehicles and do the right thing, because it is hard to get the right people to do the right sort of repairs. And that last little tip I wanted to show you, if you're into saving gloves, right, don't ever put compressed air to your skin. Not good, right? But at a distance, right, it dries the glove out. Oops, I'm just bumping that and then it comes off like that. You want to see that again? I do. Well, that one didn't work that well, but anyway, that's what happens when you're trying to do it for show. But anyway, there they are, and we'll chuck them on again later. Thanks for watching. See ya.